I don't do prepared speeches. Thank you. I don't do prepared speeches, but these are ideas in being in Scotland. That idea right there, I could talk about that for 2 hours. And I'm not talking about talking at you. I'm talking about distinguishing something about that. That's what I wrote from Scotland down to here. So I'm not going to go through all these. They're here. They're going to come through me. And which ones come through me? That's how it goes. So first thing I want to do is ask what time we have, because I don't want to keep anybody longer than they want to be here. And I'm serious about that. So if I got 15 minutes, I'll do a 15-minute us together. No. So somebody needs to let me know when I have 10 minutes left. Not because we got it scripted, because I just want to be able to complete with it. So if somebody doesn't stop me, start me up, you'll never stop, I'll never stop. There's no accident on this song. Listen to the words. So when I first got up here, is this too loud? Okay, when I first got up here, I talked to you about how to maybe have this be really great for you. And I invite you to do that again as I speak. So I'm going to acknowledge some people. And I don't want you to get lost in the acknowledgement or turn me off, because you'll miss it, because it isn't an aside. It's part of it. Maybe one of the first states of being is to be gracious and acknowledging other people. You want to shift the world? Start looking for the great in other people. And it's in everyone. There's no one it's not in. No one. No exceptions. Picture the worst guy or gal you think of that did this or this. Let me talk to him for a little while. I'll find something good in him. In fact, I'll find something so good in them. I'll find something so good in them that they will feel loved and they won't be doing what they used to do. Thanks for coming. Nice to see you. I love you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being here. So I'm going to acknowledge a few people. So who am I acknowledging right now? Everyone. Every single person. The first person I want to acknowledge and hear me different from, oh, this guy's saying thank you to somebody. Are you going to miss what I say? And you just don't want to fall asleep in my group. I'll be right over there and we'll be talking. And I'm not kidding. The first person I want to acknowledge is my wife. What you just saw there, I live with that. I have a religious background of going to heaven or, heavenly stuff. I already got it. I live with an angel. I'm in heaven. It is that good. What you just saw, that's how she is always. She is my greatest evidence that God loves me, because he put her with me to help heal me. Because, man, was I a mess. And so I'm grateful for her. I could speak for 3 hours just about my wife. Easy. She's taught herself Hebrew. She's an Old Testament scholar. She graduated with a 4-year degree in 2.5 years and had a baby. She's written 3 books. She's really responsible for the ability to read what you've read. Because if it were left up to Allan and I, it'd be a technical manual. You guys wouldn't have finished it. That's my wife. We've been on vacation here for a little while. It wouldn't matter what screw up, what I did, how crazy I could have been. She turns to me and says, oh, she's got a smile on her face. And I'm thinking, that's an amazing woman. I always joke, and it's serious. She should get a sainthood award for living with me for a week. For 1 week. Come here. You come up here. This is the first time I ever met AJ today. I want to tell you about AJ. So there's my wife. We'll put that on pause. This is AJ. I never met him before today. AJ, come up here. Walk up here and stand right next to me. Right over here. This is... See all these people? First time I ever saw AJ was when we first sat down today. In physical. I've seen him on a Zoom call or something that he sat in the background, I think, at one time. And he has sat here and loved me. He's rubbed my arm, and only my wife would know how good this is. I love it. He's rubbing my arm. Next thing I know, he's putting his arm around me, cuddling into me, and I'm thinking, wow, how did I get AJ next to me? I said, AJ, can you take me to the bathroom? You probably saw me walk him out. I wasn't taking him to the bathroom. I'm dead serious. AJ took me to the bathroom. I held his hand, and you go, oh, that's a nice guy. He's taking that young kid out. No, he's taking the old man out. So we go down there, and he helped. I went this way, and I came out. I said, no, it's this way, Steve. This is AJ. AJ, before he came, had shaved in the back of his head an exclamation mark. It's right here if you want to take a good look at it. This is what I call commitment ahead of time. And then that commitment, then I show up. I'm pretty something. Guess where I became something at? Guess where I became something at? In his mind. I became something in his mind. Oh, my mom likes this. My mom likes this guy. Oh, I'll do this. I'll put this on my head. He created a powerful me in his mind. So when I show up, he sits and loves me. He's loving me like some people's kids don't love him. This guy I've never met. So AJ and I did a little pinky thing. Show up. Listen what we did. We do the pinky and then come around with the thumb. That we're lifelong friends. Take a look at AJ. Look at all those people that were on the stage. And I think I heard Matt say, before this, he really didn't know many of them. Is that correct? How does that happen? State of being, ideas, loving. Come, let me help you down. Thank you for being my buddy, AJ. So, I'm not a talk show host, but have you ever seen where they kind of pick you out of the audience and says, whoa, I won. Boom. It's you. Come up here. No script here. I have no idea what I'm doing. That's there. We'll do whatever we do. This is who is responsible that you are actually sitting there. You just don't know it. I'll tell you the story, a little bit of the story. There's a lot in front of it that we did together with 6 people, and I won't go into all that because it takes too much time. But know that we met each other, so we kind of were in love. She calls me up and says, hey, your book's out. Can I do a book signing, a promotional thing? I said, I don't really care. I'm not trying to sell a book. She said, we'll put you on TV. I said, I'm not doing any of that. I said, I'm not trying to sell books. I said, I want people to have an experience. This is code for straighten my tie. Get it over there. Where do we do? Did we get it? Yeah, I love you. You're the best. Thanks for helping me. I didn't know if you were straighten my tie or stop. So I get she asked me to do this. I basically say, I might not spend 10 or 15 minutes or whatever, but not a big deal. Then she calls me back and asks me to speak at this thing. I just don't go out doing speaking. That's not what I do. I could do okay. I could probably make a couple $100 million speaking. Literally. I don't do that. I want to be with people. Have you noticed this is different than some rah-rah place? They want me to dance. I wouldn't do that. She's made up the dancing. I think you did. Who had to do the dancing? I wouldn't do that. I just walk up on a stage. So she asked me to speak. And so I say to her, and I do this often with people, if you can have 200 people there, then I'll come speak, because I think 200 might not get there. I don't have to speak. I don't want to do it anyway. And she hears that, and it's like, whoa. And then I see that she's doing all that, and she's done like this equivalent, except over there. And pretty soon we got a whole place that she's done with people, and it's sold out, and it's like she's done it. And she's Matt is a male her. That's the way I should say it. So either way, you can go back and forth, whoever wants to be acknowledged. Yes, I'm saying, so you get that? This is, you guys are each other, just in a different place. And the miracles she created are rippling all over the planet. This is one of them. This does not happen without this woman. Her name's Judy Hardison. I want to make sure you know that. And there are a bunch of these, not this one, but different, sitting in this room. Can you get, you can be the Judy Hardison in your own life? This isn't about putting on an event. I love you. Thank you for everything. Is there anything you want to say? Oh my gosh. Would you like to say that for us? All right. Thank you. Thank you. So this is going to be a short version. Like I say, this isn't planned. She just asked me to say something. So that's where I'm going. This is a short version. My point of view, if you want the accurate truth, talk to her, because we got two, how life goes. Two people see the same thing. Two things can be true of the same. This is mine. She had an experience, a son who's no longer with us. She's written a book about that. And she told me when I was doing this little event, I do a little contest, and she said, my son Jacob basically told me I should go with you. Now her son's not here. He's on the other side, or wherever we go. So that's how we got together. And he, Jacob, has inspired me to do things. He's inspired her to do things. So now imagine her, the son's not here anymore. She says, is there anything you want to say? And what she wants to do is make sure people know that my son did this with us. There have been times where I was going to say no to something. I tell her I had a dream. Jacob told me to do it. I call her up. So we do it. So that's the short version. If you want to see her book, it's amazing. It's called Beautiful Tragedy. There's going to be somebody in here who goes, why he said that about her product when he said about mine. It's like, just let me flow. So, second person I'd like to acknowledge is Allan Thompson, and this could be 4 hours. He has never asked me for anything. He has donated 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 hours. He came over and spent 90 days with me, made all those videos and films you see, if you see them, just gave them. When he called me up and he said, we want to write this. I said, I don't need a book written about me. I don't need a biography. God nudged me to do this. I'm to do this. And he has taken that on and hasn't, look at him here. He's here today. Hey, you know what? Where are you at, Allan? Where are you at? Where? Could you give it up for that guy? And I mean, give it up for that guy. You have been him somewhere in your life. You just don't know it. Look at it now and find it. You're that for somebody. I promise you that. Another person I'd like to acknowledge is Eric Lofholm. So picture Allan doing what he does. Picture my wife that if my son didn't have the accident, she'd basically have a problem with her eyes. They still aren't perfect, but there's a challenge. She gave up 18 months of her life and basically made her eyesight not as good. Never a complaint, never a whine, never anything. There'd be times I would wake up, it's 3 o'clock in the morning. She's in there working on this manuscript. It's just an amazing thing. So Eric reads the book the way you're going to think, he's going to instruct us on reading that book we already read. What's this, a sales pitch? No. I'm going to share with you something that will have you get to that book at a level you've never seen it at, about you, not about me. So Eric calls me up. He said, I read the book. Back cover, first 2 pages, read the book about myself. He says, I want to do something to help you. I says, okay. How do you want to help me? He says, I'm really good at Facebook groups. On Facebook, I can, push a button. I don't know much about it. I can be on it, but I don't know how it works. And he said, now you need to talk to your wife. And I'd seen him one time in my life, 2010. Now we're at 2022, and a guy reads the book and says, I want to do your Facebook thing. He thinks I'm going to need to take some time to decide. I don't take any time to decide. I said, do it. I said, tell me how it works now, because I don't know. And he said, it'll take a little while to put it up. I'll put the team together. He says, I'll probably have it up by tomorrow. I can get somebody there in IT that I know to get that done like that. I wake up the next morning, there it is. Fast forward it. You got 6,000 members of that. Nobody's being charged anything. If somebody wanted to alter the world of whatever they're doing, I'm not talking about coaches. I'm talking about human beings. Go over and participate in that Facebook group. Watch any of the audios. It'd be like watching stuff about Quran or like what Allan said or anybody that we could pick. It's amazing. He did that and made a commitment. I will generate and do this out of love. He has never asked me for anything. He has set up that Facebook group. He's put it on Instagram, LinkedIn, YouTube, any other way. He's got a full-time job and he's got 4 kids, and he's done it. Now you want to hear the craziness about it? This would be yes. This would be no. That would be go away. He makes a 20-year commitment. A 20-year commitment. I haven't paid him a cent. I'm not a tightwad. It's about, can you serve? And you serve, this is what will happen. Can you hear me? This is the level of service. So get a pencil out, something you can write with. I'm going to say something to you. I would ask that you write it down, and at least you do this in contribution to what he's done for us, all of us. And some of you would not know even about being here if that wasn't the case of how you heard. He not only created that site, he is running and managing a site called nothing will be sold to you. This is all free. Someone said, you ought to sell that stuff, Steve. And I said, we're going to Elon Musk it. Elon Musk gave his technology away. So you go here, you can find stuff, not about coaching. And if you're a coach, it'll be real useful. The Book of Being is for anybody in a skin bag. Fiona, what did you call it? A meat suit. So if somebody's got a skin bag or a meat suit, that's who this site's for. That's who the book's for. So if you're presenting this as a coaching book, you're wasting. That's too bad. You're missing a ton of people. www. If you write it down, please write it down and go see it. www.theultimatebook.com. And there you can go around to anything you want. There are things there that would be, it's just so great. Now, his name's Eric Lofholm. Lofthom. Watch this. Guess who you can acknowledge and you don't even need to know him? Let's blow Eric Lofholm away. If only half of you communicated with him saying, thanks for putting that together. But if all of you did, it would be mind-blowing. What did I say? Oh, yeah, well, thank you. I appreciate you. It's called The Ultimate Coach Book. And he said on the left, thank you. Ultimate Coach Book. Thank you. I didn't know I said that. UltimateCoachBook.com. Eric Lofholm, if you would be gracious enough to just say, Steve mentioned what you have done. That's amazing. You'd spend 20 years of your life. Well, where do you get that at? That's amazing. Rather go, or whatever. So if okay, then spell it for me. Thank you. See how coachable I am? My go on, I make 15 or 20 mistakes before 9. Easy. And I'm okay with it because she forgives me quickly. So I'm working with it. Eric asked me to tell you that if you go over there and you will not be sold anything now or in the 20 years. But if you go over there and you want stuff that's going to come out in the future, Just put your email address and you'll be on this thing that will feed you forever. All you need to do is do it. Okay. We were up at the, who's got a copy of the book? Anybody got a copy of the book close to me? Now, please do not turn me off. I'm going to ask you to reconsider reading this again if you finished it yesterday. Begin it again. Except this time, really follow these instructions. And specifically, I promise you, if you do that, there will be no one on the planet that has any access to doing anything greater than you do. No one. The back of the book, read the back cover. Don't rush through it. Be in those questions. Get that in your ideas. Be in those questions. Go to the front of the book. Read the first 2 pages. Be in possession of those questions. Then read the book. Don't start the book without doing that. Don't be a smart rat and rush through it. Be with them methodically. If you go and read 3 chapters of the book, and then you go away, and you come back the next day, go read the back cover. Go read the first 2 pages. Start on chapter 4. Go through the book like that. My promise is if you do that, I don't even care what experience you had, and I've talked to a lot of people here, they're mind-blowing experiences. It will be magnified. Read it about you. There will be questions that come to your mind that are on the back or in the front. It will suddenly be talking to you. It, the spirit, it, the power of being, it, what creates, will be talking to you and having you ask questions. You'll think, where did that come from? It's coming from being, the space of perfect peace. No, nothing to be a problem about. So I'm not trying to sell a book. I'm not trying to get you to reread a book. I'm trying to get you to see who you can become by doing this. I have books I've read 30 times, doing the same thing and learning over and over again. Now, let me tell you why I would say this to you. Because I've seen people who have read the book and they think, oh, what's cool? We'll do that and I'll sign the book. So, like doing a spiritual bypass. You know, I've had several people come up to me and they said, hey, would you honor me by signing this book? And I'm not against signing a book, but why would I sign a book I didn't write? She wrote the book. And why would I sign a book that's not about me? It's about you. So, anyone who's read the book, that read the back cover, then read the first 2, or anything like that, and read the book and actually had a breakthrough in their state of being, and they know that something's changed in them, stand up. If you didn't, don't stand up. But if you did, stand up. That means you read this book, however it is, and you had an experience. It's like, wow, something shifted in me. Okay? Now stay standing. Those of you who have done that, guess what shifted your state of being? You did. So look around, the ones standing, see each other. Now, if you have a hand mirror, look at it, or get your phone and see the reflection on it. Guess who's the only person on God's green earth that ought to sign that book? You! And the rest of you sitting down, you got to read how to do it, and don't come up and say, can you honor me, sign the book? You sign your book. You have the breakthrough right at the front of it. Dear Bob, what an amazing dude you are. Loving you, Bob. So, you get it? So, all of you that are standing up, and I'm not against signing your book. That'd be cool. I'm not wanting to be some dude that's popular. I signed something. I want you to get you. So, don't have it like, God, I what to sign a book. No, you sign your book. Now, if you're willing to do that, stay standing. If you're not, sit down, because we're going to just thin this out a bit. So if you don't want to do that, this isn't group pressure. If you don't want to do it, just sit down. Now you're standing, then this is the group that ought to sign your book. Sign your book. And the rest of you, my challenge is you to do what they've done. Just go ahead and sit down. Now I've had people come to me and say, hey, I didn't get interviewed. It's not like we didn't invite people. I mean, I was crazy going like this, telling people they could be in there, talk to Allan. And I have some clients that work with me all the time. How come not in the book? Well, you didn't talk to Allan. And people read the vignettes that Amy outlined and that are great. She did all that work on them. Yeah. So some of these clients that say to me, Billy, right? Thank you for everything you've done. I'm moved by listening to you. You're inspiring to me. You're amazing. I hope some of these people that paid this much for a ticket said that was worth more than that, and they give you more money. I hope people are moved here that we could. Where is my good friend Nina? Nina and I were at an event sometime. This is still about you. We were at an event sometime, and she said, and said to me, and we talked. And I said, get a paper bag and just go around and collect money. How much did we get? $4,000, like that. So this isn't a pitch. But did you see what this man's doing? And did you see what this woman's doing so this man gets that money? Now, if you think you got some extra value, I'm not selling anything, but see how you can get some of that money over to his organization. Wouldn't that be nice? It's like just, maybe that would be something to do. Now, as you read the book and reread the book, clients say to me, oh, I didn't get a vignette on me. He got a vignette. She got a vignette. Where's my vignette? Who's got the book? Go to the back of the book and tell me how many blank pages are at the back of the book. How many? How long of a vignette do you want? Put it in there. Chalk it up. You shift your bean. You sign your book. And you have your homegrown vignette. What do you think of that? And I can die and somebody will just say, that dude gave me a ring once or he spoke sometime. But you got being you. That's all I'm about. You see anything up here I'm about something else? That's you. That isn't me. So look at your own ideas. Amy and I love you, honey. Am I doing okay? Amazing. Oh, she's the best. Yeah, that's good. Thank you, honey. She's the best. Seriously, I'm going to give, not that you need money, but I'm going to give anybody £100. Just take the first 5 guesses of what she told me to do. Just give me a hand if you want to say something. What did she say? Do what? Okay. Nope. Next. Nope. But good. And that one's not a bad idea. Next. Thank you. Nope. That's not it. Oh, that's very good. That's 5. It could get closer, and I'd have to pay that money. We're done. But what would you think? Oh man, she said, "Watch this. This is my wife. Keep it positive. Keep it positive." So my wife that loves me is like, "Dude, you need to go over there. You're not keeping it positive enough." How good is that? And she doesn't. She just, I say, how am I doing? And she kisses me, says, "Amazing." And she says, "Keep it positive." That's who I'm married to. Isn't that beautiful? That's you. And I will. Thank you. So we were together up in Scotland at the Edinburgh Castle, and then we went all over the place because she walks everywhere, and I'm worn out. She's half my age, and we go into the. Forgive me if I butcher a name or say the wrong place or the wrong date. Get the intention of what I'm saying. We go into the Scottish memorial place where everybody from 1918 that died in any of the wars, there's a memorial. Anybody seen it, what I'm talking about? It's in Scotland. It's there. We're going through it together. I come out and I'm crying. And I say to Amy, why these wars? Why do we kill each other? What are we doing? Why are we doing this? And I'm genuinely just asking my wife, kind of like I just there said, be positive. And she says, it's because people want to take something from someone else. And right on the spot, man, I get these revelations of ideas, like this whole card full of all these. It's just tons of ideas. And I stopped and I said, wow, taking is the seed of all conflict and war. If I'm taking in a relationship, there will be conflict. Taking as a possibility, not the truth, is the seed of war. So then my mind is just a simple mind. You can see that. Just can't even spell things right or say the right deals. That's me. That's not like, oh, he goofed. That's just me. I said to myself, wow, what if a group of people decided that they were no longer going to be takers from anyone? But what they were going to do is they were going to be givers. So they began saying, oh, this taking causes conflict, war. I think I'll be a giver. So imagine, and what you have just seen are great examples of it. My wife writing, Allan doing what he did, Eric Lofholm doing what he's done, Judy doing what she's done. They're givers. There's no war on that stage. Oh, there's conflicts of like, can we get the thing done? But those people are all working together. Look at the experience in this room. This is what giving does. As a possibility, taking is the seed of war. I invite you, because I promise you, I am not a taker. I am not a taker. I tell people, you do something with me, you win. You do something with me, you win. I am a giver. I invite you to consider whether you're taking or giving. And if you're taking and you want to reduce something, like you're interested in what's going on in the Ukraine, stop taking. Oh, that's way over there. No, stop taking. Give. Start giving. Be a giver. Make sure you're clear that I'm not saying something else where you think, oh, well, you shouldn't ever take. Yeah, no, you shouldn't ever take, in my opinion. But there's a real difference. By the way, this all came to me up at that little place. I just sit down and write it out. The difference, you want to give, you don't want to take, and receiving is totally different than taking. The state of being that receiving is versus taking. You can receive like crazy, man. Receive. Just don't take. Give. When it's time to receive, don't take. Look in your own world. Is this positive? Am I okay? Look in your own world and see, like, where am I having some challenges? You know what you're going to find? Can anybody guess in the math that we just did? Yeah, you're taking something. Stop taking. Start giving. Amy talked about it. Well, I got that. I got it covered. Stop taking. Start giving. Stop taking. Start giving. Thank you, Scottish memorial people speaking to my spirit from the grave that taught me that. That's real for me. that is real for me. Everything, everywhere I go, teaches me. Everything, every person teaches me. So, as a possibility, and somebody let me know where our time's at. Give me some framework of time. Say again? Problem when you go deaf, you can't hear. What did he say? I'm joking. You're probably wondering what this beautiful woman is sitting up here in her own chair for, aren't you? If you don't know, there's a beautiful woman sitting up here in her own chair. So we're going to go back to somewhere else because this is how I do things in an order. You think there can be an order? There's none with me. This is Martine Cannon. She lives down by Lingfield. Still do. I think it's some in that area. This woman I love with all my heart. I can't even fully express it without getting emotional. She's a woman who would come from England every other week for a long time, and we would work together. She's just been through a little challenge of stuff that she can't be hugged by me. She's been in some way to have surgery that if I grab her, it might not be good. When the way I grab could hurt somebody when I hug somebody. So she's sitting here, so don't come up and bump into her or do something. She is the person that Amy was talking about that came to the funeral of her mom and dad. That was our first coaching experience. It was the day I'm going to be coaching her. They died. We don't know when that's going. I told her, she said, we can cancel it. I said, no, you don't need to cancel it. Just come and spend all day with me. I mean, imagine the relationship I have with this woman. That's a coaching session that's basically all day long. And then every other week for 18 months, 2 years. She is as talented as any female I've ever met. I was that far, maybe we want to turn the tape off. I was that far from having her marry one of my best friends. And man, he would have won the lottery with this woman. So this is my good friend, a woman I love with all my heart, Martine Cannon. If you're up here, keep a little space from her. Sorry, I didn't. If you had been where I could have seen you, I would have acknowledged you, but you're just sitting right there. I love you. So I'm going to talk a minute about something that's possible. It's not true. You may have another idea of it. But what's possible is that the being is literally everything we need to know about. Like the lowest common denominator of life is like, wow, who am I being? And very few people are other than this conversation is happening much in the world, or they're saying it, have no idea. It's like, okay, that's, whoo. But being as a possibility, I'm going to make it really simple so we can see it, so I can tell you something else that you can hear. Otherwise, you won't be able to hear me. Pretend that everything you ever do is because of who you're being. Everything you ever do is because of who you're being. So let's just say I'm being really, really, really loving. If it's true that all doing comes out of being and I'm being loving, what kind of doing would I do? Louder? Loving. And if all doing comes out of being and I'm being an a-hole, what kind of doing do you think I'd do? A-hole doing. You want to just slow it down. It's not complicated. You go to a 70-week course, do this, do that, get being, get some access to your life, take that book, read about yourself, do a process on yourself, sign your own book, write your own vignette, and start being. Because you can't trick it. All doing comes from being. There is no doing that does not come from being. Can you picture an apple coming with, there's no tree, there's just an apple shows up. That's not going to happen. Being is the seed of all doing. Everything. If you're looking there in a relationship or you got some problem over there, ask yourself one question. Guess what the question is? Who am I being? Who am I being? Who am I being? Forget about looking over there. Just ask you, who am I being? Because see, See, when I'm with my wife, if I'm being an a-hole or I'm being not kind, I know it'd be hard for you to believe I could do that. It happens frequently. What kind of doing am I going to be doing? I'm going to be doing exactly what I'm being. You can't trick it. Simplify your life. Can you hear that? If I take an avocado seed and I plant it, what's my likelihood a pineapple is going to come out of it? 0. If I take a walnut and plant a walnut seed, what's the odds I'm going to get an oak tree? 0. The law of being is as consistent as the law of nature, that seed produces the fruit. If you have 2 blacks or 2 whites or 2 Japanese or 2 anything, and they get together, me and my wife get together, and we have a little yellow child, red child, and whatever child, you're going to be freaking out because the seed's not there. If let's say 2 black people got together, and they have a little white dude that looks like me, we got a problem over there because that's the seed's not going to produce the fruit. Being is everything. If there's somebody there offended I didn't say your race or get the right one in, put what race did you like in. Oh, that's not very positive, is it? I'm trying to have you see, I don't care what color you are. I don't care what religion you are. I don't care what you believe. I care who you're being. And I want you to get this. Guess who's in charge of your beingness? You are. That's something some of you don't believe. So you think it's out there in your spouse. You think it's out there in somebody else. You want a wake-up call today? You're the one responsible for your beingness. You don't believe me? I'll give you examples that'll blow your mind. It's going to take a little time, but it will blow your mind. And you're the one choosing your being. Never not. It only looks to you like that did that, so I'm like this. I lost that job, I did this. Who you're being will shift that. I'm not perfect, and most of the time, nothing out there will change what's in here. I could give you examples that are, one's in the book. A convict that escapes from prison, comes to the front door, the neighbor wants to shoot the guy. From where I'm at, there's no need to shoot him. Who I'm being is a guy that wants to love him and help him. Who's right, me or my neighbor that wants to shoot him? Neither. Being isn't either. It just owns you, and you choose it. And you can choose it like that. And for you that think that's not possible, the guy's crazy. Picture you with your spouse or a friend, and you're just like going at it, cats and dogs. Has there anybody ever done that in here? Yeah, great. We got a few that know what I'm talking about. Like you're just upset. And I'm talking about state of being. So when you're angry like that, what's the doing going to, what doing is going to come out of that being? Boom, 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 boom. Have you ever been there? So it's like boom, 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 boom. And then somebody knocks on the door. And you walk over to the door. You over here like death rattle with each other. You walk over to the door and you go, hello? Who's doing that? That's you. You go from being an a-hole to I'm going to be like nothing's going wrong. So if I'm going to be like nothing's going wrong, guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to look like nothing's going wrong. Do the math. It's simple. This is not rocket science. Don't get it complicated. We just complicate it with our ideas. Being is everything. There is no doing that will ever happen that doesn't come from being. You're responsible for your being. You're responsible for signing the book. You're responsible for the vignette. You're responsible for what you do in the future. If it's not happy out there, change how you're being. Now, I'm going to share something that's personal. And so you'll have to forgive me. Apply it to wherever you want. I didn't plan on doing this till in the middle of this thing. I went back and I said, to Matt, can you put this picture up? So anybody who thinks I'm like promoting myself to share this, it's not that really good thing to promote. It's like I want you to get something, so I'm going to use me as the example. But I want you, and it's in this idea that you can choose who to be. You can choose it ahead of time. Guess what your document can be? It's a commitment to who you're going to be no matter what happens. It's being able to be that. So, is this 5 minutes I got left? Is this, no? No, I'll say I'd like that picture when I'd like that picture. Thank you. See, I don't even know how to do these things. It's really true. Like, man, if I can do it, anybody can do anything, because I could get her to vouch for me, Everything that goes on in the world, she basically does it. I'm lucky I can walk and get there. You think I'm joking? This is unbelievable. So 4, 5, 6 weeks ago, I'm getting a cold. And I've created ideas that I'm going to choose who to be before the thing happens. Come on, let's back it up. No, that'll be good. I'm just talking to myself. I'm going to give you a short version of something before I tell you this, so you might hear me. The guy who wrote the book, Giants and Smalls, it's a book about me and him. I was going to Southern California, and he said, dude, how are you doing these miracles? Everywhere you go, these miracles show up. And I said, no, they're not miracles. They're states of being. And he says, hey, next time you're going to do one of these, tell me before it happens, and I want to kind of go along with you. I'm giving you this short version. I could take 2 hours to say this, but get the idea and stay with me, because the next thing I say, well, you got to have this base or you won't hear me. So I called up Nick Smith and I said, hey, I got a long ride home. I have no idea what's going to go on between here and home, but it doesn't matter what goes on here between here and home. I'm going to be happy about it. Just like when we came on this trip, if we had been hijacked, oh gosh, I could say that too, but I wouldn't. The guy we met. Sorry, this is the mind. This is how this mind goes. So I said, Nick, I'm going to just have a great time. And boy, did I know that like 3 miles later on the back of my sports car that doesn't have a spare tire, I don't have a back rear tire. So I'm out in the middle of the desert with my tire messed up on the side of the road. So I call Nick up. Some people would have that and they'd be wherever they're at. I'm going to create this distinction so you can see, just like you go over and answer the door when you're in an argument, you can shift. You can do that with anything in the future. So I called Nick up and I said, Nick, we're going to do one of those miracles. He said, what's going on? I said, my car says my tire's flat. I got out. There's no tire. The kind of car I drive, they don't have them there. They don't have these tires just sitting everywhere. So I'm going to have a tow truck or something. This is going to be fun. And he says, what are you going to do? I said, I'm going to have what I call the tow truck distinction. I made it up. And I said, no matter what happens, I'm going to be okay with it. Now, I haven't seen my wife for a week. I'm excited to get home. Now I'm on the side in the desert. There's no place to go. I got to wait for a tow truck. And so I tell Nick, there's going to be a miracle. And I said, and Nick, the book that you wrote? Whoever is going to have to come and get me is going to get that book. And that person is going to go to my house. And I'm going to take a picture of that person with that book with my wife. That's before I even know who's picking me up. So I called the Porsche and I said, hey, I'm out here with a flat tire. And I said, what do I do? And she says, blah, blah, blah. And she said, it'll be this long. And I said, now picture her. She probably gets people with flat tires out somewhere. They don't get their tire in time. They're going to do whatever they do to get their tire in time. I said, so they got to come from Indio. How long does that take? It'll probably be an hour and 10 minutes. I said, excellent. That is so good. She could have had a heart attack. I said, that is so good. Let me tell you what I've got to do. And I tell this lady what I got to do. And then I call Nick back up and I say, they're coming. He says, when? I said, about 70, 80 minutes. You're not pissed? I said, no, I told you this was going to be great. So I got that time. I make some phone calls. She calls back and said, boy, the kind of car you drive, you got to have a different thing on it because you can't put it on and take your scoop out. I said, so what's that mean? He says, it's going to be another 40 minutes. And I said, that is so good. And I'm sure she's over there going, this guy must be the guy who can't remember somebody's last name or what the name of his book is. And I said, yeah, that's great. So I did some more stuff. And then she called back to tell me it was going to go on. And so I said to her, hey, do you know who's going to pick me up? And she said, most people don't ask who the tow truck driver is. I said, yeah, I want to know. She says, why? I said, why don't you get a message to him? She said, well, it's a him. His name's Mike. I said, good. Would you please tell Mike? Now picture this gal takes these phone calls. Nobody's doing this stuff. And nobody's going to get the result I got, but anybody could. This isn't special to me. So if you're thinking that, disappear that. You could do what I'm talking about today out there in the foyer or anywhere. And so she says, yeah, his name's Mike. I said, here's what I want you to tell Mike. I don't know who Mike is. Mike's going to show up. Like, I don't know who some of you are. And when I saw you know what? I love you. This is cool. Let's go. So that's a tow truck driver in this. This is going to be great no matter how this goes. So I said, get this message to Mike. Tell Mike he's going to pick up a guy. He's going to have more fun with this guy than he's ever had, and I have a gift for him. And she says, you want me to tell the tow truck driver that? I said, yeah. Tell Mike that. So I'm waiting. Mike pulls up. Mike's Native American, probably about 26 years old, pretty good sized guy. And the first thing I do is I say, Mike, I am so glad to see you. Man, you know how to operate that thing. I wouldn't know how to get that on that in a million years. Thank you. Hey, do you mind if I take a picture across the street? Because I'm going to document all this because you and I are going to have this unbelievable experience. And that dude is looking at me like, who the hell is this guy? Whoa, who's that dude? That's wild. So he's loading up my car. I get in the truck with him. I'm giving you the short version. I get in the truck. I'm serious. I get in the front with him, and I pull in, and it's like, he looks at me like that. He turns the radio on. It's heavy metal, and I think it's like, that dude ain't talking to me. We got 2 hours together. So I got this dude in here, a Native American. This guy looks like the grandfather to him, and I say, hey, Mike, what are you listening to? He looks at me like I'm crazy. He says, it's heavy metal. I said, who's playing? We start talking about who's playing. We're just having a conversation. I say, who do you think started heavy metal, Mike? He said, oh, I think it's Ozzy Osbourne. I said, oh, Mike, in 1972, I went to a concert and I saw Ozzy Osbourne. I love the way he pounds it. I love the way the drummer goes and the way he sings. And he said, now we're in this conversation about heavy metal. I asked him, what's your favorite heavy metal group? I don't know much about heavy metal. Now I do. Everybody's my coach. Everybody teaches me. He tells me about what's going on. I'm listening to him. It's like crazy good. And, and I then just tell him what I'm doing in California, what's going on. I tell him about the book. I give him a copy of the book while we're driving. Now, Nick, the guy who wanted to know about the miracle head, he says, keep me up to date on the miracles. I said, dude, when you're doing miracles, you can't stop and advertise them out. They just flow. So if you want to know about the miracle, you call me. So I'm in the middle of this heavy metal discussion with Mike, my buddy, I know that his brother died, and we connected on that. And it's like, this is a real guy. He cares. And we're going over heavy metal. Nick calls. So I just take my phone, put it on, and you go the deepest, hardest Metallica there is. It's playing, and it's so loud. And I say, Nick, I told you we're going to have a great time. He says, what in the hell is going on? I said, Nick, let me introduce you to Mike. Mike, this is Nick. He wrote that book I gave you. And we go back and forth like that for 2 hours. He's supposed to drop me off at a Porsche dealership. We are such good friends. I said, you got to go right by my house. Can we pull in there and unload my car? Not the car itself, the stuff that was in it. I'm on a trip. He pulls in there, and I know it's like he's supposed to go there, drop the guy off, and go back. We're there. I take him in. Get Amy. We take a picture. When I had that extra time in the car, I'm calling the guy's a friend of mine, the Porsche dealer. I won't get a tire. He says, drop your car off there. I'll have it fixed. So now I'm going to get Mike to drive somewhere different in my town, not the Porsche dealership, and drop the car off. And he's going to let me video it while he does it. Then the car's off, and he's going to take me back to my house. That's what I call the tow truck distinction. That trip was going to be good no matter what happened. I decided that ahead of time. And get this, you're doing that too. Either that way or that way. You're already decided you're going to be pissed off at him. You're playing it out in your mind. but only always. You are pre-playing everything you do. I suggest you do some tow truck driver distinctions. I suggest you call it what it's going to be before it happens and then have practice at being able to deal with that when it happens, no matter what that is. Now, that gives you a little background. Does everybody kind of get that? That could be a really not a good experience, and somebody could take the 3 weeks saying that was a horrible thing, blah, 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 blah. And I'm taking this guy home, meeting my wife. I got a best friend. By the way, this is all posted on Facebook. I mean, the tip of the iceberg, but you see this guy in my homepage. It's weird. Why's he got that picture of that guy? Because I love that guy. Because he's alive. Because he's human. Because he's divine. Because I'm committed to have a tow truck distinction with the guy. Well, I do the equivalent of tow truck distinctions with lots of stuff. I don't have any more talent than you. You are doing the same thing. It's just, what are you doing it with? Glad she's not here. She wouldn't see this as positive. So I raised my voice. She thinks, I'm getting a little off. Glad she went to tinkle or whatever. She's not in the room, is she? So tow truck driver distinction as a possibility is deciding how something's going to be before the thing happens. See, listen to what I said. Slow it. Wait. Deciding who you're going to be is a state of being. It's not a state of doing. I don't have to figure out what am I going to do with this guy when he gets here, because who I'm being. If I plant blueberries, what am I going to get? Well, if I'm there, like, this is going to be a great, exciting thing. What kind of doing am I going to? Great, exciting doing. I said, like, you win. Hey, if I can do it, anybody can. It's simple. You've seen I can she jokes I can multitask. So I'm telling you, whoever's over there going, oh yeah, he can do that. You're already doing it. You practice it every day. Some of you have already decided you didn't like part of this. I'm going to call him. Sorry. Some of you have already decided how great this is. You're going to read the book and do this. And some of you have already decided this is going to be such a great experience for me. I'm going to share this with people. I'm going to have a change in my life. And you're going to do it, but you did it. And somebody else is in the same room sitting down 2 from you. And they're going to go not be very kind to somebody else when they talk. That's you. Can you hear that? Okay, now I'm going to share what I didn't plan on sharing until something happened here. About 6 weeks ago, I got a cold, and I'm committed to be with my clients. When Martine came, she went to the funerals with me. It would be really easy to say, Martine, my mother and father-in-law died. We can't do that. So I'm finding out how I can do things rather than finding out how I don't do them. I don't use my body as a reason not to do something. I don't use my feelings not to do something. I use my committed state of being that says, here's who I'm going to be, and then stuff happens. So I get sick. I end up being in bed for 4 weeks. This is 6 weeks ago, or X weeks ago. I've never been so tired, whatever. So in that 4-week time, guess how many clients I missed being with? None. Then I could say, I'm sick, man. And somebody might say, yeah, you should be. You should be sick over there. I'm with my clients. They say, man, you don't like you feel very well. I said, I don't. But that's my body. I have a body. I'm not my body. I'm my commitment. So that happens for 4 weeks. And during that 4-week time period, I wouldn't take it away. I would be sick for that 4-week period of time because what I learned about me. I'm not sitting there, oh, I'm sick. Oh, I'm not sitting there going, gosh, I'm sick. I'm thinking thoughts that would be great, like to my body. Gee, body, this is great. You've been so good for so long, and now heal me. Do something with me now that's good, because this is and then I'd do my thing. I'd be with the client. I'd go back. I'd learn about what I have with the client. 4 weeks. Nothing outside me shifted who I was being, and I was sick. That's like answering the door, deciding you're going to change. And I did it saying, and I Can you hear that? It's like, I'm going to do this. And I want you to really hear it. You're doing it now. Someone's thinking how bad tonight's going to be. You already got your story rehearsed and what you're going to tell somebody. Man, you're working that muscle to death. Shift that out. Put a different seed in there and watch what you create. As a possibility, being's everything. It's all you need to look at. Instead of managing your image, manage your state of being. Instead of managing, what I'm going to look for all this, manage your state of being. Manage who you're being. When you look out there and it's not so good, don't try to change out there. Go over here. Now I'm going to show you another tow truck driver distinction. I didn't plan on this. Like I said, I was sitting there. Roll the picture. You can now put the picture on. See that technically? See, one picture guy. I can almost do one picture. This was me 2 weeks ago. I wasn't going to share this with you, but I think, because somebody go, whoa. Oh. They'll go, do. And like, so he's showing us that. I want to show you tow truck driver distinction in reality. So picture me being in bed for 4 weeks, meeting with my clients, doing my stuff, really learning, and people say, and I would not change it, and I'm dead serious. So I finally, and by the way, I did Zoom calls and with people, there's some people in here I did stuff with to help create this thing while I'm in bed sick. Not sympathy, like I dug it. I'm okay. I can be sick and be okay. And that's something. So I almost feel like normal. I decided to go out in the back garden and see what it looks like. I hadn't been in a car. I hadn't driven. This is a guy who works out all the time. I don't remember what page it is, but go look at that 66-year-old. I think I look pretty good in that book at 66. I really do. So I'm working out all the time. 4 weeks, no working out, no stretching. Going to the bathroom, eating, going to sleep, client. Going to the bathroom, 4 weeks. My mind was so good. I do it. What am I learning? What am I learning? This is great. So I get up. I go out in the backyard. We got a little Chase lounge. I think I got a client at 2. Plug it in. I don't want to sleep through my client. I've been sleeping all day. He's flying in from another state. I lay down, put my alarm on. Again, I haven't been doing anything. My body's not used to anything. Going through Scotland was hard for me this last week, just walking. And the alarm rings, and I just pop up really fast. And, so this has been not well. And it takes 2 steps, and it face plants. And my wife, who's a really even-keeled person, I know when she looked at me, this wasn't a good thing. When she came and looked at me, she can look at something that's not a big deal. And she looks at me, and somehow in the fall, it kind of tore the round part of my foot, just ripped it off, I guess the weight. And I don't have anything to support me, so I just crash. She comes out, we walk in, I got blood on the carpet. She's calling the kids. Her sister's a nurse, taking pictures of my head. We go to the urgent care. I'm in the urgent care, and the nurse is saying, I said, how long will this be to get somewhat that look like Frankenstein? And she says, probably 4 weeks at the first, and you're probably about 4 months before you get it down where you don't see it much, and you'll have these speckles and everything. Guess what the first thing I said in my mind was? I said, that's a normal person. That's what they would do. I said, unless I told somebody this story at this event, they wouldn't know this happened. All I want you to know is I decided that I was going to have a great experience. She's one of the few people that I sent a picture to. There was that picture. She's in charge of this. I said, when I get there on the 30th, this is going to be a lot better than you ever saw. People saw what had happened to me, and I literally say to people, what I learned in those 4 weeks, that head dive, and where I'm at, if you said, Steve, we're going to take that experience away from you, but you don't have to be sick for 4 weeks, and you don't have to head dive. I'd say, put me in the head dive pile. I want to go back down. I'm dead serious. You're the one deciding. Do I want to be happy? Do I want to be sad? Do I want to be okay? You're doing it. Well, not if you get a toenail. That's me. You think I'm the only one that could do that in the room? No. Anyone who wanted to do that could say, hey, I just got hurt. I'm going to take care of it. We're going to be fine. You could do that. Can you see that? So we'll play a little bit. I want you to look inside your own minds and look and see what you've already decided tonight was going to be like. Take a minute. Look and see the conversation that's happening right now. The one in your head. Look and see what you already decided for Sunday. Look and see what you've already decided, like, that's just not going to work out with him or her or it. You guys are great at tow truck driver distinction. Just what do you want to have happen? I was on a Zoom call with whoever, and at the end of our time together, it was totally quiet. It was so powerful, no one wanted to speak. And Rain, the gal that you saw up that Amy talked about, she's leading it, and she said, I don't even want to say anything. It's that great. And it's tough for me not to say anything. So I said, Rain, could I say something? And she said, I don't want to break this up. I said to her, I don't want to break this up. But I want you to know this. What you're experiencing is being. This is being. It is so delicious. There's nobody on that little thing that we had is going to go out and kill somebody. They're not even going to want to steal. The state of being. That's the basic state of being, of love that you are, till you start judging you. So we're going to move over to another idea that just came to my mind. And that's this. If there's any one thing I could share, and I could say this about 70 things, so I don't mean it literally. Do you understand that? If there's only one thing I could share, that's what it would be in this moment with this mind. But 3 minutes later, I may have something else. I'm not lying. I'm not deceiving you. There's more than one thing. But this is the one thing I'm talking about now. If you want to alter your life more than anything you've ever done, lighten up on you. Forgive yourself. Stop judging you. Stop judging you. You're the one doing it. And then you think that's how we see you. No, that's how you see you, and then you give that to me. Stop judging you. You reduce the judgment, you increase the love automatically. Stop judging you, you got our world peace. You're at war in you, there is no world peace no matter what's going on in the world. Oh, they ought to do something over there. How about if you do something in here? Become conscious to how much you are judging you. Reduce it. Guess what happens when you begin reducing how much you judge you? Any ideas? You become more loving. When you reduce the judgment on yourself, you cut me some slack. And everybody else you look at. When you're critical in you, that's all you can see over here with me. There literally is someone in here like, I wish this guy had shut up. And that's how they're experiencing me. They're missing something really great. And there's somebody else in here who's like, man, that's so, gosh, I get that. They're choosing who they're being. One's being self-righteous. I don't like that. This isn't what I taught in church. I saw something somebody else said. I'm trying to be positive on it. Just let them know we're not There's a wreck in the road up here. Don't go to the left. You're doing it. If all you get out of here today is stop judging yourself, being compassionate with you. If I'm being hateful, what kind of doing am I going to do? If I'm being loving, what kind of loving? If I'm being compassionate with myself, what kind of doing am I going to do to me? Compassionate doing. Like, hey, let's make life too simple, man. What do I have to do? Give up all my stories of blaming everything in the world on other people? My mom, my dad, that person, my job? What would it be if also you were responsible for who you're being? And it's like, if that's not good out there, I'm going to be something different. Pretty good, huh? Pretty good. Pretty good. Like, whoa, that's over here. I can do something with that. I'll have clients who'll sit down and they start talking about what they're doing. They name 6 or 7 people or whatever. And I say, should we call them up and bring them over? Bring them in. I should talk to them. I work with an executive and he says, what about my 7 C-level executives? I say, they only exist in your head. Oh, they're there. You don't know them. You just have your ideas about them. You want to shift them? Shift who you're being to them. I don't need them in the room. I just need you and your ideas. You are creators. You cannot not create. Impossible. You create as well as anybody in the room. Here's Quran. You can go, wow, that guy creates. You create as well as he does, as well as I do. You're doing it just as much. Same Zoom call. The one that was like, no, it was the next week. And that's when I went and looked like a Frankenstein. I'm like, what happened to him? That, and again, this is in a 2-week period. This is cool. I'm saying that's possible for your body, your mind, your spirit, your relationship. It can look like that. Oh, it's gone. It can look like what was over there a little while ago. And you can have it be cleaned up. So in this other Zoom call, in fact, it was Penny. Penny, where are you at? It was Penny, I think. Penny was up on this left-hand corner of the Zoom. However, she magically did that. Now she's over there. She was up there, and we were talking about, I said, Penny, you have the ability to be as much as I have the ability to be, the same amount. I have no more quality of it or anything. And I said something like this to me, like, again, she heard whatever she heard. I said what I said. It can be different. I'm okay with that. When you get up in the morning, you begin creating through your being. I'm not blaming you. I'll go somewhere over here. Someone else would say, this is going to be a horrible day. I can't do this. I'm no good at this. That's me creating who I'm going to be. And I say to her and all the other people, you wake up in the morning, you begin creating who you're being. You're doing it, who you're being. And you do that till you go to sleep. Guess how much I'm doing it? When I wake up till I go to sleep. You got just the same amount as I do. Seriously. The question is, who are you being and what doing is coming out of who you're being? I got no access to more being than you do. It'd be like me thinking I got more time than you do. I don't got more time. We got all there is, the same amount. I'm not talking theory of time like I got 4 hours today. I mean, everyone in here has the same amount of time. 60 seconds in a minute, 60 minutes, we got the same amount of time. So you're practicing the minute you think. You cannot not create. You are creating the moment you begin to think. Can you hear that? You are creating every thought you have. Create something. Some of you have literally created something that's going to happen today that will actually happen that won't be useful to you. You being this, then you go do something that happens. You go, gee, that's what I was worried about. No kidding. Pineapple, pineapple. Banana, banana. You want it to trick some other way? Like some other way? It's not going to. It is that simple. The only thing that will complicate it is your state of being. Oh, that I can't do that, so I'm being I can't do that. So if I'm being I can't do that, what doing do you think I'll do when I walk out of here? And much about what I've said? Somebody who's being I can't do that isn't going to read the book the way I just said to read the book. Somebody who's going to be like, wow, I'm going to find access to my being. I'm going to be responsible for my being. I'm going to shape my being. I'm going to decide how I answer the door. I'm going to do a couple of tow truck driver distinctions. And metaphorically, my head is going to be better in about 2 weeks. Now watch, that's a picture of a physical body. But what about you getting your head, woohoo, better in 2 weeks? That'd be a deal. And what did you pay to come here? And you heard all these people and you could see that you could get your head better in 2 weeks? That's smoking. And guess who you need to talk to get that done? You. You're it. Now, I'm going to just share with you, and I think I'm going to complete. And I haven't talked about anything on those cards. So, there's nothing I've said here that's definitive or all-inclusive. There's a little bit of touching something that we've touched, little teeny bits. Okay? I like to use metaphors. If I plant a seed in the ground, and I'm wondering, I wonder if it's growing, and it starts to sprout, and then I go over and I pull it up and check the roots. It's like, this isn't working. But if, do you get that? We do that all the time. This is never going to work. It's like, oh, this is not going to work. When you have an idea, the more solid you can get it, the more it can be trimmed without killing it. So if I am loving kindness, and I plant that over and over again, I go from a seedling, I don't have to check it, to here, till I got an oak tree. So now I have an oak tree. I got oak trees, but they're oak trees anywhere anybody wants them. Somebody else may hear me today, they got a little seedling and think they're going to have my oak tree in a day. It doesn't work that way. You ever walked out and seen a rose and it goes, whoop? It doesn't work that way. But I promise you, if you become responsible for your state of being, and one of the possibilities, not the end all, is like seeing what it is you're saying to yourself. You know, Karan talked about going in. There's ways to do that. There's a bunch of different ways to do that. And then one of the possibilities is to replace the old ideas with some new ideas. Again, that's just taken 50 years of my life and putting it into a sentence. But I felt like I should tell you who I am. And it may take more than a minute, because probably on each of the statements, I'd use something for you to see that it's not that I own it. I own it, but I don't own it. It's mine, but it's available to everyone. I call it dry rain. I own it, but I don't own it. They're both true. So, me working on my mind, and it's still under construction, and it's got a lot of work to do, and I make a lot of mistakes. And if I had more time, I'd tell you when I made up at the castle, where I just really blew it up with the guy, and I was just horrible to the guy, and how I went and cleaned it up. But I was a jerk. I thought, man, it'd be nice to put that on the video, stick that up there and take a look at that while that's going on. Go, that guy did that? Yeah, that guy did that. This is not a kind of something I memorized like a set of words. This is who I'm being. This is just me stating these words to you. I am the universe. That is a seed I plant. When I see myself as the universe, it's not, you're not the universe. It's like, you're also the universe. Do you know that? Your body is, the composition of your body is exactly what's out here everywhere. We're literally the universe. So I say I'm the universe. I think he's cool. No, I'm just making a fact. I'm 6'4", I weigh 200 pounds. I'm the universe. And so are you if you choose to be. Or you may choose, I'm not the universe. I'm no good. Universe, no good. You choose, because that's what you're doing. You're doing it. You plant that you're what, and I'm not saying to use these words, you're equivalent of this. These are just mine. Love is, I am that. If I am, love is, I am that, planning that, being, love is, I am that, what doing will I do? Some of you are here going, I wonder how he's doing that. He sees these people, that looks like that. That's like, wow, where did these bananas come from? Banana trees. Love tree. This is not rocket science, man. It's like you're being who you're being. You're sitting in the chair being who you're being right now, creating, generating, powerful creators. Nobody's not got it. Nobody's got it better than somebody else. We're all doing it 100% of the time. The question is, what are you really doing with it? Be still and know that I'm God. That like bugs people sometimes. I'm not saying I'm your God or I'm the God. I'm saying I'm God, small g. I create. The minute I think I'm creating while I'm walking here. You're creating. You're having an idea. Do I like him? Don't I like him? Da-da-da-da. You're creating. See, I just say, be still, know that I'm God. I'm a creator. I'm aware I'm the one doing it. I don't care what religion somebody is. I'm not your God, your particular thing, and I can be with anybody, with whoever their God is. But, the secret is you're God. Small g, you're it. You're it. I am a disciple of Jesus Christ. That's not, maybe going to do a Christian thing on me here. You could be, love Allah. You could have Vishnu. You could have Krishna. You'd have rocks. This is just what I'm planning. And when I say about Christ, I'm not talking about an airbrush Christ. I'm talking about the Christ who cleared the temple, forgave the harlot, loved people, that brought eyesight. Man, in the work I do, I'm telling you, it's as good as water to wine, having somebody walk. So I'm okay with that. So I'm planting that seed. So if I'm planting the seed, I'm a disciple of Jesus Christ. What kind of doing do you think I'm going to do?